The streets of Dhaka were alive. Rickshaws rattled, vendors shouted, children ran past, and the aroma of street food lingered in the humid morning air. In the midst of this chaos wandered Abdul, a young boy barely surviving each day. His home was a tiny, crumbling room where his sick mother lay on a tattered bed. Every coin he earned mattered for food, medicine, for her survival. Yet Abdul walked with quiet dignity, enduring the noise, the glare, and the indifference of the bustling city around him. Life had tested him harshly, but he held on to a fragile thread of hope. One morning, while Abdul arranged his meager stall near the edge of a busy street, he noticed a young girl walking to school. Her name was Anika. She moved with a purpose, a gentle rhythm in her steps, oblivious to the harsh streets that surrounded her. But as she passed him, their eyes met, a brief fleeting glance that held warmth. Every day, Abdul looked for that moment. That tiny spark of recognition became his silent comfort amidst the struggle. Days turned to weeks. Anika began slipping Abdul coins as she passed, almost secretly, as if no one else could see. Abdul took the coins with trembling hands, not just for the money, but for the affirmation that someone saw him, someone cared. Each coin was more than currency. It was a lifeline, a whisper that the world wasn't entirely cruel. Their eyes would meet, a silent understanding passing between them, unspoken but profound. One afternoon, Abdul tried to sell near a bustling street corner. Suddenly, a police officer appeared. He laughed cruelly, pointing at Abdul. "What are you doing here, street boy? Go away!" Abdul froze. He wanted to respond, but had no words. Fear gripped him. Anika, passing by, watched in horror as the officer mocked him. Her chest tightened, and tears pricked her eyes, but she dared not speak. Not yet. At home, Abdul's mother lay weak and pale, her breaths shallow. Each day, Abdul had fought to bring her some medicine, some food, some relief. Now, seeing her like this, he felt helpless. The streets were no longer just a challenge. They were a prison, and his responsibility for her weighed on his young shoulders. He wondered, silently, how a boy like him could survive in a world that seemed determined to crush him. Despite fear, despite hunger, Abdul returned to the streets day after day. He sat at corners, selling trinkets, coins jingling in his pockets. The police officer's jeers sometimes followed him, each mocking word piercing his resolve. Yet he endured, motivated by his mother's frailty and Anika's subtle acts of kindness. Slowly, an idea began forming in Anika's mind. She would gather help for him, something bigger than coins, something that could change his life. Anika rallied her friends from school. Together, they brainstormed, planned, and strategized. They created posters, collected coins, organized small collections. For 3 exhausting days, they worked tirelessly. Sweat, laughter, and hope mingled. Each coin collected was a silent promise to Abdul. You are not alone. Together, they built a lifeline for him, a bridge over the relentless struggles of the streets. Finally, Abdul received the money. He stared at it, tears welling up in his eyes. For the first time in years, hope blossomed. A tear rolled down his cheek as he hugged the coins. He gave part to his mother for her medicine, saving the rest for survival. The streets felt different now, lighter, less cruel, almost welcoming. A small miracle had touched their lives, a quiet revolution of compassion in the midst of harshness. But peace was fleeting. The same police officer appeared, his eyes burning with anger. "Why are you getting help? Who gave you this money?" Abdul's chest tightened with fear. Anika, trembling but determined, stepped forward. "He's a human being, deserving of kindness," she said, her voice steady beside the shaking of her hands. The officer's laugh was cruel, his threats sharp, but Anika stood firm, defending Abdul with nothing but courage and truth. Days passed, and tragedy struck. Abdul's mother passed away quietly, leaving him devastated. The boy who had survived every hardship now felt completely alone. The thought of giving up, of ending his struggle, hovered dangerously close. For a moment, the world seemed to collapse, but Anika's unwavering support, her gentle reminders that he wasn't truly alone, brought him back from the edge of despair. Years went by. Abdul transformed from a struggling street kid to a capable young man. He learned new skills, earned money online, and became a content creator. The boy who once depended on small coins for survival now earned them himself. His hardships became lessons. His resilience became strength. His empathy for others profound. The streets no longer defined him. He defined his future. One day at a fan meetup, Abdul saw faces from his past, Annika, friends, and even the police officer who had once mocked him. The crowd cheered, and Abdul shared his story. The journey from desperation to dignity inspired everyone present. The officer's arrogance had been exposed, humility forced upon him, and Abdul's rise symbolized the power of kindness, perseverance, and courage. Abdul's life teaches us that every human being deserves respect, regardless of their background or struggles. Power and arrogance may seem strong, but empathy and courage always prevail. Life is fragile, and kindness, even in the smallest forms, has the power to transform destinies. Remember, no one should ever be humiliated, and every act of compassion creates ripples that change the world. Abdul's story is proof that humanity can triumph even against the harshest odds.